The next question I had for you is, I'd like to know, who are your favorite philosophers? And it'd be interesting to get your favorite theist philosophers, but also then maybe some of your favorite non-theists, whether that's atheist or Hindu, or I'm sorry, not Hindu, that's the theist, but atheist, or even a theist that isn't a Christian, maybe. I mean, that's up to you. Answer it as however you would like.
Okay. Favorite philosophers, Jesus, and that's not intended as a Sunday school answer. I think that Jesus is overlooked as a philosopher. I think that you can, even if you're not a Christian, you can read the Gospels and consider the things that Jesus has to say and just consider them philosophically. The dude was clearly a genius. So he would be top of the list. Saint Anselm is definitely another one of my favorite philosophers who I spent a lot of time considering his ideas. Moving forward, Spinoza was depends on who you talk to, whether he was a theist or an atheist and how they interpret his works, but he was not a Christian for sure. He was a Jewish thinker.
Schelling seemed to think that Schelling's interpretation of Spinoza was that he was a panentheist, that he thought God was part of nature, but that God was more than nature. Yeah, and I thought that was interesting.
Or that all of the universe itself is God or divine. He had some interesting views. Moving forward a little further, I would say a couple thinkers that have really influenced me are George Berkeley and Soren Kierkegaard. Also, I'm really fascinated by those guys. In the contemporary scene, Alvin Plantinga was just sure. Bill Craig, I think very highly of Bill. He's been super kind to me. There are lots of theists who I think are doing outstanding work right now. Even lots of people who I don't necessarily agree with them on every position they take, but just very, very gifted philosophers. My own doctoral supervisor, Oliver Crisp, he does, mostly theology and philosophical theology. But Oliver, I would say that he is a philosophical theologian with the emphasis on the theology, as opposed to kind of what I understand myself to be more of a theological philosopher, where I'm a little more interested in that. From a non-believing perspective, non-Christian, non-theist, I think that there are some really, really important conversations happening. Michael Tooley, Paul Draper, Evan Fales, the usual suspects, Eric Wielenberg, Graham Oppy, Stephen Meitzen, John Schellenberg. These are the atheistic philosophers who I really think are worth paying close attention to. There are others as well. There's no way I could name everybody on either side of the camps that are doing important work, either apologetically or anti-apologetically, you might say. But I do think that there's a pretty significant difference between people who are trying to approach questions of faith or questions of God's existence academically, as opposed to those who are just trying to kind of think about them as armchair theologians or armchair atheists. So